FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, so shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. Welcome to Shades Monday. It's been a while. It's good to see you guys again. This episode recaps the Commanders' road victory against the New York Giants. It's 29-21. We're going to get into what we liked. We're going to get into what we didn't like, what we want to see improvements in, and then we get to the comment mailbag as we always do. Before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Look, stay out of the reflection of my glasses. I mind your goddamn business. And this shit.
Share this shit. We appreciate you guys so much. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this episode. The Washington Commanders go on the road and win back-to-back games in MetLife over the course of the past two seasons for the first time ever. So congratulations to the Washington Commanders for doing that. Obviously,
season
we wish
complete.
our season complete. We obviously wish our record was better, but it was nice for the team to get a win again. It's nice to be in a winning locker room, like Marcus Mariota had said post-game. Though it was ugly at the very end. We'll get to that. But we got to begin with the good in this game, K-Dot, because there was a good amount of it. The floor is yours. What did you like in this game?
So if we're going like the grand theme, the word I used when I typed this out yesterday was relieved to some degree, but still definitely not satisfied. It's like banging a Nashville 4. Offense good. Yeah. Run game. Cliff. Run game. Stuck with it. Like even to the point where the commentators were like, wow, he's really doing this and sticking with this thing. And it was decent. Like even without Chris Rodriguez being there, which as soon as you heard Chris wasn't going to be there, my heart kind of sank just a bit because you could just see the difference between him and McNichols. McNichols is a lot more shifty. He's trying to look for the home run constantly and not just taking out. Chris, that's purely the hammer, right? He's the one that bashes through, gets that initial hole, and then everybody else can kind of eat. But I will say, best Bills looked in quite some time as far as and it was good that they just kept with it. The run game, like legitimately, 96 yards and a tutty? That was legit. Didn't feel like fake bullshit yards. It felt like they were earning it. So that was good. Mariota, for the most part, stayed in line with what it is they were trying to do system-wise. And then even for some of the off-script stuff, he did look good at certain times in this particular game. I mean, everybody's going to look at the turnovers, but we'll get to that when we talk at the bad. The sticking to the game plan, but the aspect of what happens when you have a Terry McLaurin, which is that the haymaker landed. You can throw deep and know that you got a dude that can go get it. And that's what you're doing when you're playing on those margins, right? You want to do the ball control thing. You want to do that complementary football thing, but you also want to be able to set up things and play extra, set up things when they get and they load that box to have somebody like Terry McLaurin take advantage. And sure enough, in those opportunities this year, Terry has looked good and probably no better than this game itself. That was just like, this felt like the offense is where it's supposed to be. Okay. Ben Sinnott. More on him later. Moody, to some degree.
Yeah.
I will say, like, for the first time in quite some time, I actually feel a sense of this will be okay when he's out there. I don't know. Maybe it's just the look. I don't know what it is, but he does give me a little more confidence than some of the other guys have done. All right, so that's offensively good as far as from what I could tell. Defense. Like they did a really good job taking advantage of Jackson Dart having one of the worst games he's had this season. like he looked bad, but they didn't let him kind of do the get right until the very end. You look around the half, with defense swung as far as the momentum goes. Like I will give the credit as far as the defense flying all over. Anthony Antonio Hamilton Sr. is that dude this game. I mean, look. I know everybody ran to Pro Football Reference to figure out who the fuck this guy was and if he was like some undrafted. No, he's 32 years old. But it was nice. It was nice to see somebody kind of eat, even though he probably won't be here next year. And then the final stand. I hated that it got to that point, but the final stand was some like grown man fucking football, baby. Like, it felt good to a certain degree. It didn't feel good leading up to it, but it did feel good that they were like, hey, we're dead in this right now. So that was that was my good.
Yeah, and I want to echo a lot of that, beginning actually with, you know what, I will begin on the offensive side of the ball. The number of carries that the running backs got in this game, when you combine that number, so it's 18 for Bill, which is nice to see. 18 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown. That's over 5 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. He did have the fumble. We'll get to that, like you said. And then Jeremy McNichols, 9 carries, unfortunately for 6 yards, also a fumble. We'll get to that. But that 27 number is something that I'd like to see us do moving forward. And That was the highest total combined over the course of the whole season. Look at all the games. Find one with more. You won't. So it was nice that Cliff Kingsbury stuck to that. I like that Marcus only threw the ball 19 times. He ran it 10 times, but I like that number's low. This is what I thought we were going to get with Jaden, right? When we got Laramie Tunsil, when we got Deebo Samuel, I thought it was going to be more ball control. I thought it was going to be more running the ball, and the throws get easier for Jaden. Instead, it seemed like, okay, cool, we got these guys. Now we're going to spread these guys out. We're just going to throw it all day. So it was nice to see what I thought the original identity was going to be going into this season. So really like that. Ben Sinnott, we'll get more on that later in terms of snaps, in terms of routes run, all that jazz. But when his number was called, he had separation. He caught the damn ball, and he should have iced the game had we not fumbled the very next play. Whenever we ask Ben Sinnott to do something, he does it. We've targeted him 9 times in his career. He's caught all 9. He's got 2 touchdowns. He's caught passes from Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota, and Tress Way in an NFC Championship game. Each time we ask him to do something, he does it. So I was very happy for Ben. I just want to see more of him.
I'm sorry, and then with these glasses on, you couldn't see my eyes rolled all the way back into my skull. It hurts.
And mine too, by the way. And Terry McLaurin. I mean, the team is just different when we have Terry McLaurin. It was a beautiful throw over to him. He breaks the tackle, trots in the end zone. The energy is just different when he's the one making a play, and he continues to be underrated, in my opinion. Looking at the defense, the secondary in particular, I was very proud of. Like, Antonio Hamilton made play after play on Darius Slayton. We talked about it in the preview. We want Jackson Dart to throw to Darius Slayton, get away from Theo Johnson, get away from that running game. And whenever they did, I think Antonio Hamilton won that battle. And then you also had Quan Martin. Mike Sainristil gets a pick. You know, he's had a rough year, but it was really nice to see him attack that ball and be able to get that interception. At one point, I thought he was going to house it.
Best
it was
pick
nice.
Year?
Yes.
Still fairly easy. Good pick.
Fairly easy, but good pick. Good instincts. So it was nice to see that. And Jeremy Reeves made a huge stop on Theo Johnson on a quick little tight end screen that forced them to punt. And Jake Moody also goes in my good because, hey, if you go 3 for 3 on field goals, that's great. Missed extra point hurts, but given our record, I didn't mind it. And shout out Jalen Lane. Second punt return touchdown of his career. He's just a rookie, and it was gorgeous. Like, he is a weapon on special teams. So just wanted to shout him out as well, kid. I'm very happy for the kid.
Yeah, you get the special teams on it. That's just positive.
Yeah.
And overall, over the course of this year, except for occasionally Jalen Lane just doing some weird shit or trying to be a hero, overall, I've been impressed by our special teams outside of the field goal kicking. But now it seems as though we've kind of shored that up with Jake Moody. Finally, it seems as though he's calm, we're calm, we're working together in that.
And Vaughn got a sack. It's nice to see. Team high 7. Team high 7. I know it's been a really rough year for everybody, but it was nice to see Von Miller get a sack. He should not be leading the team in sacks, but he's, 7 sacks for him at his age. That's great, especially when he's being forced to play more and do more in the run game than he would want to do. He's supposed to just be the pass rush specialist. So for him to have 7, good year. Just wish we had, less injuries so that he could do more of that instead of a lot of the
Preston
other
Smith actually having a couple good moments.
Yeah.
In this game. Yeah.
Yep. It's a good shout. And Ali Cajo, I believe, got a snapper too. So that was nice to see. Any other thoughts here on the positives, K-Dot, before we move over to what we did not like?
Nope.
All right. Well, with that, let's go to the stuff that we did not like. Because, yes, we won, but it was ugly. Just like the intro said. So, K-Dot, on this end, what did you not like in this game?
So let's do this with nuance because I don't want to shit on anybody for the sake of shitting on anybody.
Sure.
Josh Connolly, not the best game. The thing was that of any game this year that people have criticized probably Connolly the most is probably that Giants game, the first Giants game, which makes sense because of how early it is on in his career. But the idea is that like there have been some guys that have shown him some fits, especially against this Giants team where it was like, okay, I give him credit for recovering into 2 fumbles, but
Yeah, how many offensive linemen get to do that? Now, one was his fire that he put out. But hey, 2 fumble recoveries.
2 fumble recoveries still count for something. Like the idea of just being able to just go down and go. I will say, I did think there was a sack on Mariota that I think was more Mariota's fault than it was Connolly's fault because I do think the Mariota number 1 held on the ball a little too long, but also had room to step up in the pocket, and it felt like his drop back was a little shallow. I felt like Connolly did just enough to get him beyond what was happening, and Mariota should have stepped up and be able to make that throw. But I look at that when it comes to the All-22. Overall, still, at the end of the day, Connolly did get beat on that rep, so it just wasn't his best day overall. But, I mean, yeah, that's just that. The turnovers just bad. Like you keep the Giants were doing everything in their power, especially early on in this game, to just give it up. You can see like Look, going into this game, me and you both got it wrong as far as prediction goes. But I do remember thinking if there was any reason that we would really win this game, if there was anything I was going to attribute it to more than any other thing, would be that horrifically bad Mike Kafka speech that he gave in Hard Knocks, and it felt as though the team kind of responded in that way, like, yeah, we don't believe. It did not feel like a Giants team that gave a shit.
A step deeper, we don't want to play for you.
Yeah, that was more than that.
You know?
Feel like that. Hey, we weren't sure your ass is fired by the end of this thing.
Right.
Yeah, it just felt like they didn't come to play. And when you can experience that, or you start feeling that, and the team stays with you, never a good feeling, never a good look. Like this is one of these things you got to kind of put them away. But hey, 8-game skid, you just kind of want something positive, so you take it where you can. But this was one of those ones where it's like the team from last year ends these guys. We end them early. This is Jaden going on fire, and then Mariota coming in because we want the rookie to get hurt. Like that's what this should have been.
If I could just chime in on that exact point, that's literally what we did last year, right? Like it was the 3rd and 5, just short of the 2-minute warning. Olamide Zaccheaus on the crosser. That's your ball game, right? Like that's ice in the veins. That's business per usual because they're struggling and we just took care of it. And this, in direct contrast, 2 fumbles in the final 2 drives for us. Just a team that was nervous that hadn't won in 8 weeks. You could see it.
Yeah, no doubt. Injuries also bad. Noah Brown coming in there and just leaving almost immediately, even though he had the good catch. Like yeah, man, injuries are still not our friend this year, so that fucking sucked. And then the pass game, like, I will say that I do appreciate that they stuck with the run game as much as they did, but there were some opportunities I thought were going to be available or were available there in the pass game they just didn't do. And I don't know if it was that they didn't, sometimes I don't know if Cliff doesn't trust Marcus to do some of the things that he trusts Jaden to do. Like, they just have this kind of built-in, hey, I think this guy can do this guy can't do that. So there's every once in a while a concern for me, and it gets reinforced every time Jaden comes in and the game plan looks different, is that I almost feel as though Cliff thinks that he's held back by what it is that Marcus can do as far as throwing the ball down the field. Even though, once again, I do think from the play action standpoint there was something available. Going into that, the bad is the personnel uses in looking at Ben Sinnott and seeing how open that motherfucker was. There's shit like that available all day. And what do? They wait until Kosin Yankov gets hurt, and then Ben's forced to be in the position to fucking catch that ball, right? That, to me, is stuff that I see in the All-22 all day long, and it's just that they're not hitting them. And every once in a while, when they do it, and you see the success level at this, you're just like, why? Why can't you do that more? So that's just, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but it's definitely in that it fucking annoys me category. That it just makes me angry. Like the Ben Sinnott, you guys know I'm in the fucking tank as far as Ben Sinnott goes, but I've been in the tank for Ben Sinnott before he got here, and everybody's looking at the stat. What is it? 9 targets, 9 fucking catches, 2 touchdowns. Like, why? Why don't you use that guy? He seems like a fucking weapon on an offense that needs weapons.
It's a great question, K-Dot. I mean, I think that play in particular, for those that have believed in Ben Sinnott or want to see more of Ben Sinnott, leads to more questions than answers, right? Because, again, he got a lot of separation. He brings it in. He carries his tackler a few extra yards to gain more yards and holds on to the ball. So he's not fumbling the thing, right? So like from a technique standpoint, from an athleticism standpoint, he seems to be a guy that can make plays in this league. And he's just, at this point, seems like he's not getting the opportunity to. Whenever I see him on the screen blocking, he does a pretty good job. I've seen him whiff on a couple wide receiver screens. Yes, I have. I'm not saying this is the perfect player over here. He's a second-year player, right? I get it. But in run blocking, he seems to do a pretty nice job. I would reward that kid a little bit more, get some more snaps. Now, he did play over 50% of snaps, but to your point, K-Dot, from the conspiracy theorist standpoint of Colson Yankov having to go down to get that number up, I can't disprove you.
No, it's also the run. It's the run that they do try. As the year has gone on, they have trusted Ben to do the run blocking better than anybody else, because if you look at the tape, he's the most enthusiastic of the blockers. Yeah, you're right. He does whiff on some stuff. But I'll tell you, this year, I've seen John Bates whiff on more things than I've ever seen him whiff on this entire season. So just want to throw that out there, too.
3 years,
they all
21
have their
mil.
moments.
You got rewarded, too.
They all have their moments. But it's like, at the end of the day, look, unless like there's some just crazy shit happening, I don't know how you see what Ben Sinnott's doing and you might not even believe in it, but it doesn't make you curious. Just a little bit, just curious to see so like I won't understand that. So like offensively, you have that aspect of it, like to put these guys away, the turnovers, everything else. Defensively, run defense, it allowed some moments where they could just bully us to some degree, and I didn't love that at times. Like the 12-yard run on the third and 10 is just like don't love that. Especially that was something that we hung our hat on at one point in this season and felt like is maybe through the war of attrition, whatever. Or I think a lot of it might be able to do because we go from playing more man to zone. It's just different as far as the way that they're combating as far as the run. So I didn't love that. The Tyrone Tracy specifically is just hurting us, and everybody saw the Bobby Wagner on him, and it was just like, and I give Bobby credit, man. He stayed with him as longer than I thought he would, but it was too much, and it was a hell of a throw. And it also, at the end of the day, Jackson Dart's stat line at the end of the day is so not indicative of the day he had. And it pisses me off that his stat line doesn't look that bad compared to what it is. That
we
probably
did
should
a
have
really nice job on him overall.
Overall, yeah. I mean, overall, but you know what? I will say, I do think Dart had his worst game. And I do think that, like, you can hear on the commentators, it was just like, they all looked disinterested this game. Like, this is this just didn't feel like, because I know I've been bigging up Dart to other people that have been, like, talking to me over the phone over the course of last week. They're like, hey, really? I'm like, dude, you gotta, like, he's balling. Like, I don't give a fuck. What he's been playing well all season. Like, and if it's the first time they watched was this game, they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm like, "I get it."
Yeah. So for me, the big negative, just looking at the game itself, you can't fumble 4 times, right? Like that. Look, we won. Relief was the word you used. Relieved but not satisfied, which I think is a perfect way to put it. You cannot fumble 4 times. It reminds me of the NFC Championship game where we just couldn't stop fumbling. Now, this is way lower stakes, obviously, but for a team that wants to establish itself as like, okay, we play clean on offense, right? And then we're going to take the ball away on defense, of which we've basically done neither this season. We didn't turn it over 4 times, but like to fumble 4 times is inexcusable. Marcus Mariota's in particular, right? Where you would expect from a veteran, right? He suddenly sees, I think it was McNichols open on 3rd and 13. And as he's going down, he's like, you know what would be sweet is if I made this throw. There's no point. It's 3rd and 13. From a veteran, I expect you to just go down with it and understand it's okay. We can punt this ball away, right? The Jeremy McNichols one was comical. Like that legitimately looked. Harlem Globetrotters, Washington Generals. We turned into the Washington Generals on offense in the final 2 drives. It was just like, what the fuck am I watching here? Right? Like it literally felt like it was scripted for us to lose at that point. Like it was just a really weird, really strange sequence over there where the aforementioned Ben Sinnott made the play that should have iced the game. All you got to do is get a first down and the game's over. Or even if you don't, the Giants are burning their timeouts and then they don't have much time left with no timeouts. Instead, we fumbled on 1st and 10. Like, so that was a huge negative for me, K-Dot, just moving forward. That was tough, but hopefully it just stays contained within this game. I still want to see more of the young guys get more opportunities.
That whole thing goes in the negative. You could see they were on their bullshit from the moment they started the game.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for validating that, because I was like, okay, yeah, we won, but like, I want it to be that I see a couple of the young guys make a play. Jordan McGee was named a captain for this game. He got 14 snaps. That's 21%. I don't care if he makes mistakes. I want to see more of him because I want to know, do we have a guy for next season? Right now, I don't have the answer to that question. Right?
I say that when I wrote my note, the first thing, I didn't see Johnny Newton. I didn't see Jordan McGee on the first drive. John Bates was in his tight end one. It looked very early on. Oh, and then McNichols getting the start. It was like, oh, they on their bullshit. The youth movement's not the thing. Not the thing this game.
I was actually thinking about putting money on Bill to get over a certain amount of yards, but I was like, honestly, can't trust the coaching staff. I don't know that he's going to get the bulk of the carries. Might be Jeremy McNichols all of a sudden. So Johnny Newton, 23 snaps. That's 34%. That's third amongst defensive tackles. Not too bad when you consider it's Kinlaw and Payne. So I get that a little bit more. But can we up that to be closer to a Payne or closer to a Kinlaw? Because we're 3-10 at this point now. We're 4-10. We're 4-10. Can these guys get an opportunity to make a play? And it's okay if we don't, right? Like, just we need to know what we have. Yeah. And then Ali Cajo got to play on special teams. Would have been nice to see him get like a snap. Caden Medrano on defense, same thing, a snap. And then Debo, actually for me, was a negative. 2 drops. I can't have that, right? Like, because we're talking about, do we bring him back next season, right? I like the physicality he brings. I like the different dimension he brings to the offense, but I can't have 2 drops from wide receiver 2. So that's me being nitpicky, but like,
don't back down on that.
But you cannot drop it, right? Like, because Marcus is putting it in a good spot. You have to catch that ball.
It's more than that. Like, I literally wrote down, is Debo made of rubber? Why does it feel like every time he doesn't make the catch, it's going to be an interception? Because this shit is bouncing all over the place every time. So that's the thing with Debo, is that I have been a person that always thought that the reason that Debo is not as sure-handed with that is that he's always thinking about the next thing.
Yeah,
he's thinking about the contact. He's thinking, right. So like that's my thing, is like, just catch the fucking ball, though. Like I get that, like, but you can't get to the yak until you catch the fucking football. And that's the thing that, like, he's always kind of, I think that he was doing that shit back in San Fran. Sure,
but he's younger and more athletic at that time.
100%. Like, right now, more than this is, if you're going to keep your career going, especially with what it is you do specifically in this offense, which you could be, like, focus on catch the fucking football. If you do that, then you're going to be a Pro Bowler each fucking year. But, like, if you don't, there's so many interceptions I think that he causes because of the ball just bouncing up or off of him. It's fucking insane.
And that's the difference between him and Terry McLaurin, right? That they're about the same age. Terry's a little bit older, but man, oh man, if I throw the ball to Terry, I have zero concerns there. In fact, he's probably catching balls he shouldn't, right? Because he's so good at those contested catches. He's so good at laying out and getting under that ball. The number of reviews where we'll throw a challenge flag or New York looks at it and they go, oh shit, he caught it with Terry McLaurin. Like, that's what I don't even need it to that level. But when it's thrown to you, just catch the ball. Or if you're not going to catch it, can we somehow have it like go down instead of up? Like, because that's just way too risky once you get to playoffs, once you get to games that matter in December, stuff like that. It makes me rethink, do I want him back here when I see drops like that? So that was the negative on offense that I saw. And then Bill, again, I love watching him run the ball. But this is a thing with him. Like, I expect if he gets over 13 carries, he's going to put the ball on the turf once. I can't have that, right? So that's just specifically on that one turnover with Bill. I love the way he runs, but if it's coming with a fumble, I can't trust you. But I'm glad he's getting minutes. I'm thinking about basketball now. I'm glad he's getting snaps. I'm glad he's getting opportunities. And I'm okay seeing it because I'm like, okay, is he developing? That's an example of a young guy that made a mistake, but I'm glad that he's getting more run because can he improve? Yes or no? I want the answer to that question. So
I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I would just say the usage is not where you want it to be. In a perfect world. So like he would not get anywhere near as many those carries.
If he could get like 8 to 10.
That's where the Rodriguez thing gets in, and where McNichols is. Look, McNichols, I'll tell you right now, unless he is playing cleanup occasionally, not the guy you want. It's just you can see that Rodriguez uses that hammer ability to like just create space or create a hole, and just I'm not thinking I'm going north south, which is what you need as far as the hammer. I mean, Nichols is way too. I'm looking for the home run. I'm gonna be a little jazz hands, jazz feet. Like I need to give five, and it's like motherfucker, just hit the hole. Just hit the hole. Like
Exactly.
Bill has that, but he's just not. Bill's impatient too. He's always looking for the home run. But the thing with Bill is that he doesn't realize his size and he wants to be the hammer. And it's like, hey, buddy, that's not what you're here for.
Right.
So I do think that because I think the Rodriguez thing is the single biggest factor on the offense would have looked very different yesterday if he had an opportunity to play. I just think that the way that we beat these guys up would have looked very, very different. And I actually think we would have leaned on the run even more in this particular game if that was going to be the case.
Kid, I can ask you a question. So moving forward, do you have more negatives that you want to get to?
No.
Okay, cool. So then let's do a quick sort of moving forward segment.
Mm-hmm.
We can do rapid fire however you want. You can ask me as well if you have any in mind. This running back room, right? Like if it's Chris Rodriguez, if it's Bill Croskey-Merritt, and it's Jeremy Nichols. Okay, we do need somebody.
There's not a position on the team. Look, man, I keep it simple.
Sure.
Quarterback, and that's a maybe if Mariota's back or whatever the hell's happened as far as that goes, okay?
Sure.
Left tackle. Offensive line. I'm not depth, cool. Offensive line. Wide receivers, maybe.
Okay.
I think those are the only two position groups that I'm like, you don't need people. like you don't need starters. Like you don't need.
By the way, just taking a step back and a neutral perspective. If I heard that as a fan, if I'm like, hey, my quarterback's good and my O-line's good, I like where I'm at. That's great.
I think you should. But that was the thing that I said a few weeks ago. Is like, I think I'm finally seeing. I think once again, I give Connolly shit as far as this particular game, but it feels like the Giants are just
had
an issue
a nice
for him.
year. He's
had
developed.
I'm telling you, if it's outside of the two Giants games, you'd look at him and say you hit the lottery on your tackle selection. Like we are good, but overall, I think this unit, especially when you start seeing them running out of the jumbo set, especially when you start seeing Brandon Coleman kind of coming in and adding a piece. So there's a Trent Scott, all these guys. You're looking at a unit, in my opinion, in the next 5 years is going to be a top. I don't even think it's going to take 5 years. It'll be a top 3 unit.
I like our O-line a lot. I agree with that. I really, really like what we have cooking on the offensive line. Mm-hmm. And you know what I think of Jaden Daniels. Like I'm excited for what we have there. I actually think, and this is probably I'm in the minority here, if Cliff does learn to run more and gets more comfortable with that, the sort of less is more, I think, in his head. You had mentioned it. When Mariota's in there, he feels limited. And for me, I was thinking less is more. Like that's good. I like the way you think when Marcus Mariota's in there, right? I'm actually okay with the running back room and then investing the resources and money that we have in other spots. So I would put running back lower on the list of priorities than some.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Do you miss Brian Robinson?
Actually, no.
See, I do.
Okay. I like what Chris Rodriguez has
I like
done.
Rodriguez too. I just do think Ryan Robinson's better. So like I like Rodriguez and I like the more carries he's getting.
I think Chris has better vision than him.
Well, I mean, considering the fact that Robinson's head's usually down.
Right, but that's why I don't miss him.
I was just saying that hammer.
But like,
I get it. No, I'm
Chris
saying the hammer. To me, it's just that hammer piece, right? Like I like Rodriguez. Don't get me wrong, and I want to see more of him. It's just I still have like he's Chris Rodriguez. Like it's just, like there's just that part of it. Like I could just tell like, hey, I think you can upgrade this, but overall, have I liked everything that Rodriguez has done? Yeah, but I think it's like I like him the same way I like Liddell Betts. Okay, which is like I think he's decent.
Yeah, with Chris, I think like you said, he's Chris Rodriguez, and so therefore replaceable. I think he's building his name right now, and I think that he ends up being a guy that is. He's not this like surefire RB1, but you look at him and you go, oh, okay, no, he's solid. And I'm fine with solid, right? With then Bill being able to hit those bigger holes that Chris created early on for us, And,
I'm literally saying across the entire roster, I get what you're saying. And I would tell you that like, if we're getting into the nitty gritty as far as like how much money you want to spend on certain positions and things, I get that. To me, it's like, if I'm just looking at every position on the team, are you able to upgrade this? Mm-hmm. Just in a vacuum. Is it possible? Is it feasible to think you can upgrade this? I say outside of quarterback and offensive line for the most part, yes.
Yeah, Fair,
maybe wide receiver if you got Luke McCaffrey comes back and he's healthy and Lane continues to.
So I would go wide receiver, linebacker, are the ones that I would want to upgrade. Go ahead.
That's interesting. So wide receiver thing to me is like I'm looking at Debo, Terry, a healthy Luke, Jalen Lane.
I don't think I'm looking at Debo anymore, which is currently
really
which is currently where I'm at. That can change, by the way, because I'm close on that. I'm pretty on the fence.
Yeah,
there.
if you're saying Debo's gone, then I'm 100. Then yeah, you need wide receivers.
Yeah, and so I think that, and I like Traylon Burks, but like also he got cut for a reason. Like like we'll see if he can continue to develop, and he's clearly got talent. I want another guy that can separate. Right. Like that's a guy that I want, because when I think back to last year, we had Zacchaeus, we had Crowder at times, like we had these De'Ami Brown, we had these smaller guys that found ways to get space, and Jaden seemed to thrive with that. And when I see that Jaden's holding on to the ball, yes, sometimes there are people open and he's staring at them and they're open. I get it. But I also think if he gets more of those looks, he trusts again. It's an improvement he needs to make on his own in isolation, but I think we can make it easier for Jaden or easier for a QB if we have more guys that can separate. And so that's what I'm looking for, a wide receiver. Linebacker, last season, I wanted Bobby Wagner back more than anybody, right? Like we had the Bobby Zach Ertz thing. I also wanted Dre Greenlaw. Like I wanted another linebacker in addition to that. So I would like to see a younger linebacker come in if Jordan McGee does not develop, right? Because then we're year 3, Jordan McGee, coaching staff seems to not trust him for whatever reason. Okay. Well, if that's the case, I'm not going to be like, play more Jordan McGee. I'll be like, fine, you guys have given up on him. If that's the case, we need a linebacker. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
I get you. The only thing I do like the wide receiver room when healthy. So like that's the glaring thing is that like this entire season I'm missing De'Ami Brown, I'm missing Zacchaeus because of the attrition rate. And like last year they were kind of forced to play more than any of us wanted them to play because they were kind of journeymen and what it is we wanted on offense. But to me I saw this year enough from Luke McCaffrey where I get coming back from the injury, I don't know, but at least prior to injury, I'm like, no questions, I'm set. Jalen Lane was somebody that I had questions about over the course of the year, but right now I feel good about him being your 4th receiver. And then to me, it's just the injuries thing. Like if it wasn't for the injury aspect of this team with the wide receiver room, like we had all these guys, the full clip the entire season long. I think this is one of the top upper echelon units in the league, honestly. So like that's my take. But that's also how critical I've been on Jaden.
Sure.
And how critical I've been on Cliff and some other aspects of this offense. I do think there's been a lot more opportunities than people have necessarily taken advantage of over the course of the season. And I do think you saw it a lot with Mariota. And Mariota didn't have the full complement of guys. They haven't had the full complement of guys. Yeah.
And this is obviously, guys, a conversation we are going to continue. Would love preliminary thoughts in the comment mailbag of positions you want to address this coming offseason. So that we can continue to discuss this. And we will continue to discuss this in post-game reactions as we see games. Go ahead, Kata.
Yeah, I was just there was something I was floating about doing, which is like there are a couple. I have a list of things that I think I'm going to try to look for in the All 22, but I'd also open it up to anybody in the comment mailbag if you had answers to these or something that you saw maybe. Because I'm probably not going to answer all these in the All 22, but we'll see. But I just wanted to kind of run through it. I thought this may be something cool.
Great idea. So that way, once the All 22 is done, we get to the comment mailbag and we can answer those additional questions because K-Dot definitely would have clocked it. Any final thoughts before we move to the comment mailbag, in fact?
No, just so hold on. So I'm good with reading. Can I say this thing?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what I'm looking for in the All 22, the Connolly versus Carter. I want to see rep by rep what the hell was going on with there because I thought Connolly has done a really good job over the course of the season, but it didn't look good this year. The Mariota clock, time to throw, pocket climb, like what was going on as far as that goes. The tight end usage. It's hard to tell who had to run routes, who was just there for blocking over the course of the game. I do want to see what it is that they actually looked at and what it is that they trusted over the course of this game. The youth movement, you already got the snap counts. I haven't looked at them yet, but I do want to see Lane versus Burks. I want to see McNichols versus...
They were tied, by the way.
Yep, see, there we go. Don't love that. What happened when Tunsil went out? I want to study that a little bit more. On defense, what the fuck happened with the run fits? The coverage rules, it did look like they just had Bobby by himself, and I don't love that who was supposed to help or anything with Bobby as far as in the running back and from a pass standpoint. The pass rush integrity, the young guys once again usage on defense, and I want to study Hamilton.
Yeah,
because this particular thing was like, I don't love it in the sense of, but you look overall, like, what are they supposed to do youth movement wise? They're all just old back there. I guess there isn't really much you can do, but I think what I'm really studying is probably the safeties also in this one in the secondary, because the secondary had some moments in this particular game that we don't necessarily see.
They had a nice day. One last question before we get to the comment mailbag, actually. So on the subject of Laramie Tunsil, he gets hurt. He goes back in, gets a new injury. Okay. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, just please don't play the guy. If he is ruled out for Saturday, okay, against Philly, by the way, guys, it's a Saturday game, 5 p.m. If he's ruled out for Philly on Saturday, Jaden cleared for contact and could start. Do you want to see Jaden Daniels in there without Laramie Tunsil?
Who are we playing?
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm actually on the fence on that one.
I get it, man. I understand the aspect, but
I like Coleman, but yeah,
I think at the end of the day, I know that when push comes to shove, and especially in these next few weeks where things could look ugly at times potentially, even though this is one of those games where if I'm just looking at it from a betting standpoint, stay the fuck away from this one because Washington could absolutely win this game. Just on a betting fuckery standpoint.
No, agreed. Yeah.
NFC East near the end of the season, don't count on shit, okay? They could stomp a mud hole in us, no doubt.
Nick Wins called it the division tournament, which I think is very smart branding for the rest of this season. I like that. Yeah.
I do too. As much as, once again, I do think there are some moments that could look really ugly potentially over the course of the next few weeks. I will still stand firm that as much as I know everybody else has all these thoughts, I am not relenting. If Jaden's healthy, and that's a huge caveat because I think he lies a lot, if he's healthy, I want him playing.
Fair enough. And I do too. I also think the offensive line is a dependency, but to your point, K-Dot, navigating adversity, it's one position on the offensive line. The rest is there, right? So navigate it. No, yeah,
I'm just saying. I usually learn when, everybody talks about the touching. I'll never forget when I was a kid. The first time I was at my aunt's apartment, and I'm looking at the iron on the ironing board, and I had to touch it. I don't know why, but I had to touch it. Sure enough, big ass blister on my finger, and it hurt like a son bitch.
You learned.
I learned. My thought, Jaden. You sick and tired of getting your brains bashed in? You sick and tired of being on the sidelines hurt, man? You sick and tired of just getting hit? How about you get rid of fucking football? I thought that would be the thing. So, in my opinion, there's as much as I understand everybody else's standpoint, I think the more danger that you throw towards this guy, the more likely I'm willing to see a change. So, tell me the whole offensive line's hurt. Hey, yeah, put him out there. I want to see. You got to learn. And I keep going back to, if he's going to constantly get hurt, then he's just not the guy.
Not the guy, right.
And that's just what it's got to boil down to. Look, I don't know if you've heard the likelihood that Joe Burrow is no longer in Cincinnati next year, or because he's retired
by the
gone somewhere else.
That is I almost think we should do an under the radar segment at times where if we hear a story, we go, hey, look out for this. That's on my radar as that is scary news.
Would you take Joe?
No, I'm not worried about us.
I'm just asking.
I'm worried about that team up the road. That has an aggressive GM. They wear green. I think they'd do it.
Oh, I do it. I think that's a major upgrade, and I think I'd do it in a
No.
heartbeat.
So this whole thing about Joe Burrow, I think it turns into a Stafford-esque, I want to win. That's what it is, and I don't think this organization can do it. This is the organization that got Carson Palmer to say, I no longer have fun, and then he ended up playing an extra 10 years just somewhere else. I'm worried Joe does the same thing, and how he's going to be I don't give a fuck what people think. Here's Jalen, here's 2 firsts, we're good to go. That would scare the shit out of me.
Easily huge. And both teams would be happy with that.
I would not take Joe, to answer your question.
Okay, that's all I was wondering is would
No,
Joe
I'm good with
be on
Jaden.
your
I'm good with Jaden. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. All right. With that, we go to the comment mailbag. That was pretty juicy just before the comment mailbag. With that, we go to the comment mailbag featuring an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, as always, for that intro, Nikki. And K. Your consistency with smoke looks pretty dope. Beginning with, let's go with the one comment we got post game, and then we'll go from there. Jamal Bibishar Bonwi, shout out at this point, just a gangster in the comments, always in the comments. Thoroughly appreciate that, Jamal. This victory shows how it could have been this whole season. The team made it look so natural and effortless, even with all the turnovers. The muscle emoji over there. K. Your reaction.
I just realized when I smile like this, I feel like Stevie Wonder. I feel like I just do this. Stevie, facial hair is stupid. It's just so dumb. Let me just remind everybody. You see the Giants record? It's here. No, it's not how things could have been all year. There's some ideas, there's some concepts that are fun. But the Giants suck ass. That's why they are there, potentially about to get the number 1 overall pick. They're feisty. Don't get me wrong, and I love Jackson Dart, but they gave up in that game, and there are moments in the course of the season where you definitely saw that. Maybe it's different if Cam Scatterbu's still there and they're kind of running that juggernaut, but Mike Kafka inspires no one. And you could see it in that game. Once again, the concepts of the heavy rushing attack, the jumbo sets, going stuff out of that, is something we've seen the last few weeks, or at least the last few times that Marcus has played. And that's, to me, that should be the bread and butter of who it is we are on offense. But like I said, going into this season, I didn't really believe in the rushing attack, and I think Cliff didn't either, and he stayed there.
Yep. I agree. That is not something we could have done the whole season because of quality of opponent. And the turnovers, even with the turnovers, those turnovers, we lose a lot of games, right? You cannot turn the ball over 3 times and expect to win. We managed to, relieved but not satisfied.
They showed that the turnover differential and everything over the few weeks of the season, over the course of the 8, it was minus 11. Can't win.
Can't win with that. Cannot win with that. Riddell Winchester, and actually, this is a good comment because this is in line with, hey, guys, let us know what you want in the comment mailbag. He goes, I was surprised in the Vikings review. I did not hear you call out Cliff for the 0 score by not calling some runs when we were on the end zone. This goes to him not calling more runs, which you did allude to in the Giants preview. JD5 would probably be hurt less if Cliff called run plays more. Thoughts?
I think we hammered that home in the post game. So I left that alone as far as the All-22 because that was just evident, and I didn't want to yell.
Fair enough. And what I'll say to the JD5 would probably be hurt less if Cliff called run plays more. Yeah, that is what I think. Just because then it does affect how a defense plays. And I thought we were going to do that, again, with the offseason signings that we made. That's what I thought we were built to do. When we all of a sudden were like, we're going to do what we did last season with a wide receiver. This sounds so critical of Debo, so I want to be very clear. I like Debo a lot. I wanted Debo over here. Yeah. But I wanted Debo over here thinking we were going to run the ball more, and he was going to be able to be used in short yardage stuff.
Right.
If the plan was to do what we did last season with this wide receiving core, I would have told you it was a bad idea. But it looks like that's more or less what we have tried to do. Everyone's a year older. You have wide receivers that cannot separate as well as the ones last season. They may not be household names, but they're smaller, they're quicker. It's easier to make those quick throws. Yes, I think Jaden is hurt less if we run the ball more. Go ahead, K-Dot.
I don't know the answer to this. So it's watching the All-22 and seeing Cliff. Everybody knows what I wanted from Debo. Me and you had screaming matches about Debo's usage going into the season. Trust me, they are not utilizing him the way that I wanted him to be utilized over the course of the season. But I do see some glimpses of some things. The only problem is that Debo in the backfield, Debo in the end around, Debo doing things that make him the gadget guy. I don't think in the sets that we're having as far as the jumbo sets, it allows you to do as many of those gadgety trickery things with Debo. And I also, once again, go back to the most crucial thing that has happened to this team this season, specifically on the injury front, there are two positions that hurt us the absolute most this season. Wide receivers number 1, and then defensive ends number 2.
Mm-hmm.
But with the wide receiver thing, I think it's forced our hand and forcing Debo to be the type of receiver that I kept yelling at you that he wasn't this season. It's kind of forced his hand. And you remember there were certain portions early on in the season when Terry was out, there was like, oh shit, Debo actually looks like he can
the
be
Chargers
that guy.
game, for example.
That being said, you see over the course of the season why that's not the fucking case. Like he's not that dude. That's not how you want to utilize him. But I do think that there might be a philosophical difference in the sense of the way that you kind of spread people out horizontally when you want to use Debo in that way compared to what it is with the jumbo sets. There's also the idea of I think some of the first read stuff that you got to trust with your eyes or trust pre-snap that I think might have been there for Jaden or Marcus to take the quick hit to Debo that have not been necessarily utilized the way they need to over the course of the year because people are holding on the football too long.
Well said. Martin Collins goes, always sharing, y'all. Appreciate that, Martin. And here's another one. Also, whose artwork is behind KDOT? Just curious.
I wish I could tell you the name of the artist. I wish I could tell you the name of the artist. But he specializes in minimalist movie posters. I plan on having this entire room decked out with minimalist movie posters. It just kind of hits two of those kind of things for me. Although I'm very much into mid-century modern right now, which is really weird. Bronzes and greens. I don't know. I like interior design. But starting with these, I fucking love movies more than maybe any other thing. Maybe driving and sex, the only two things. Commanders when they're good. But yeah, I do love my movie posters.
The Nathan Perry goes, I had to watch the reaction to the Tebow comment twice. Love the energy and passion. Yeah, it's an asinine comment. Okay, not your reaction.
Did Coach comment this week?
Of course not. Not yet.
I feel bad. Look, man. Here's the thing. I did think about that again, and I'm gonna shoot Coach some bail. It was just crazy of me because I don't want to at all. Is he talking about Tebow in the sense I'm a Tebow defender? I'm not gonna lie. I am a Tebow defender.
That's important context, guys.
It's very important context to look at why I'm shooting this guy bail. Is it when I hear Tebow, I'm thinking about Tebow's throwing motion, and I'm thinking about how he ended up as a tight end somewhere, and I'm like, how dare you compare him to Jaden? But I also remember Tebow's playoff run was magical, and is that the comparison? Is that Jaden got like the miraculous playoff run early on in the career, but maybe we don't get back there? That's the closest I'm going to get with being able to shoot bail. Because once again, I am a Tebow defender. I just don't think you can ever say that Jaden Daniels, from a quarterback standpoint, should ever be compared to Tim Tebow as far from a skill set. I will say I thought Tim Tebow was a great football player. The same way as like if you got an offensive coordinator that can take their head out of their ass and use them like a Taysom Hill or something, you might have something. But I also think that everybody tries to fit somebody within the scheme or the system in which they have, and it's like, be a little more loose.
Yeah, no.
I get it.
There's no. I almost got smoke for you. Like there's no conversation where those two were together. They're just not.
The playoff run, man.
No, not even. No. Listen, it was the rest in peace to Demaryius Thomas. It was the quick little post, and Thomas housed it. The next game was an unmitigated disaster after that.
To be fair, I kind of want us to throw short and fast to things.
We just talked about it with the wide receivers. I think it'd be great. But what I'm saying is Jaden's deep ball is much better. Jaden's ability to scramble much better. I'm not doing this. What I am doing is saying that Jaden's playoff run last season compared to any other rookie was the best ever by miles. And he's shown a clutch gene. And so he is in a totally different conversation and, realm. And I'm going to leave it there. We go to Martin Collins, who goes, agree with who are we? That's why it's important for us to get at least one more good victory for the next season. And you guys rock. Keep up the great work. Appreciate that, Martin. I would ask you, does this qualify as a good victory for the next season? That would be my reaction. K-Dot, your reaction.
Any victory is good because it teaches them to win. There are a lot of things not to there are a lot of things you need to take out of this game and do better at. The turnovers, the closing them out. There's things like that. So I'd say that this could serve as a lesson, but I don't necessarily, because even the more we talk about like what the identity is and then the general makeup of the team and the way the roster's built and this, that, and the other, I think you have a team that is still not sure about who they are. And I think you got a team that's still trying to figure it out over the course of the next few weeks. And maybe that completely colors the way they handle this offseason, especially from an offensive standpoint and what it is they do. But right now, I don't really know. I don't get the tight end usage. The running back area, do you want to upgrade? Do you not want to upgrade? How it is you want to go about that? With the Deebo Samuel piece, do you continue to want him to work like a typical receiver, or is he supposed to be your gadget guy? Terry, I get that he's the deep threat. And once again, I do think that his route tree could be a lot more nuanced than that. There is defensively, we are trying to keep it together. Offensively, I see some makings of a plan. I see some things that do excite me from a complimentary football standpoint. I don't know if the offensive coordinator is completely sold on that, and I don't know if they're sold on that from the top down from a personnel standpoint.
This last game was won much more by our defense than our offense. So want to shout out the defense. Again, I thought the secondary played well. I thought that it was nice to see Vaughn get that sack. We did put some pressure on Dart. We gave up some runs that we're used to. Unfortunately, we should not be used to it, but third down runs that worked, a couple third down conversions that were unfortunate, but we've seen it. But overall, the defense was the unit. If you're going to give it to a unit between the two, because special teams is great. Between those two, defense did their job, and we need the offense to clean it up.
I think if you force my hand to choose one of the units, it would be the case. But if I was going to look at who single-handedly was the best thing that was happening to us, or the most reason that we were successful, I'd look at that and say it's Jackson Dart.
Yeah, no, that's also true. That's also.
I thought he had a bad game. Like this was the worst game I've seen him play this year, and still he was able to kind of put it together at the end, and we allowed that.
Yeah, Tony, shout out Tony OG. Three crying laughing emojis. I purposely put delete in the brackets because he doesn't deserve his nickname this year. So that was, in fact, Tony doing something over there, kid, on your reaction.
I'm glad it wasn't a slur.
Yeah, that's what we were discussing. I was like, what does Tony want me to do here? Here is Martin Collins again. It's going to be Martin, then Jamal, then Martin again, then Jamal again. We're going to go back and forth. Okay, little one-on-one series here. Martin Collins goes, very glad to hear you talking about injuries being the reason, not an excuse. Of course, we had high expectations after 2024. Now we're going to have to find some new blood. Some of it we already have. I don't blame Witt for the defense. K-Dot, your reaction.
I'm with him. The excuse is like at the end of the day, that means you lack depth. And that's, I look at everybody and say, like, everybody gets hurt over the course of the league. Now, once again, season from hell, we're definitely up there. I think that, like, if you had to pick the one season from hell team this year, it's probably Kansas City, even though I don't necessarily put them in that qualifier just because I thought it was going to happen.
It turned into the season from hell with the Mahomes injury, but
yes, that's what puts it over the top.
It, you can't say that. And K-Dot, I told you if you got that AFC West right, you deserve your flowers. It's even better than the Jaden take. I'm going to stand by it. That is an incredible call. Now, did you have the Chiefs making the playoffs? You did. So you were wrong. But that's
on me. No. Here's the thing. It's all. No, I take full responsibility for that because I was too pussy not to. I didn't have them in the playoffs, honestly, but I couldn't. But I don't think there is
momentum there where you're like, I can't go that far.
Right. That was the whole
thing. Yeah.
It was kind of like the Commanders. I wanted to go below 500, but I'm like, I was too pussy.
Hey, you were seeing.
I'm pussy. Yeah, that's. I'm not gonna. I don't deserve credit for that. So don't think I'm trying to like have my cake and eat it too. I fucked it up. But I'm saying I was closer than everybody else on this bullshit. For sure.
No,
I feel good overall. The only team that's disappointed me right now that like as far as any of my predictions go, because of specifically something I saw this last game, is Tampa Bay. They're about to implode.
Yep.
I'm very scared because I was like, that is a calamity. I'm so upset. How the fuck are y'all letting the Panthers backdoor themselves?
The Panthers lose, they get swept by the Saints.
These dumbasses.
The whole thing is funny.
The NFC South is a dumpster fire, and the fact that the Bucs aren't running away with this thing is so annoying to me.
You know what I can't wait for? This dumpster fire being forced to have a playoff team
to lose against Green Bay.
No, they're going to win. That's the funniest part. I think they're just going to randomly win that game and then just get steamrolled by the Rams or Seahawks or whomever it may be.
Just a shout out. If we talk about injury day from hell, Green Bay went from Super Bowl contenders to like nothing overnight. Holy shit. Best offensive lineman, best defender maybe in the league, and then the top wide receiver again.
I don't think people understand how well this is also setting up for Seattle. And it really is, did Sam Darnold turn a corner from last season? That's the question. Because that Thursday night game of the year, in my opinion. Like, and it's Sam Darnold in a spot again. This time he's at home, right? Last year it was week 18 on the road, and he shit the bed. He just did. And this time he's going to be at home, short week. Devontae's definitely out. He pulled that hammy for sure, so he's definitely out. Puka comes back in the game, but he's going to be banged up. And you're going against a very young Rams defense that played great against Sam Darnold last time, but now he's in the friendly confines of Lumen Field on a short week. Must win. If these guys lose, no one's going to take the Seahawks seriously. And that defense is insane. So, like, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
No. I'm good. I want to hear you.
Just since we were just on the record of like how right or wrong I am about things.
Sure.
I just want to point this out. Just to point this out. A team hired a defensive-minded coach, went and signed a veteran quarterback, and focused on defense to start out, and it's kind of working out for them.
Yeah, but the defensive coordinator is Savant.
Once again, my number one candidate going back 2.5, 3 years now.
Which you sold me on, too.
Right? Like, I'm just saying, the way this... You know what's lining up? Because also, like, I'm about to spend... I'm just booking the places. Like, I'm going to be... The entire month of March, it looks like I'll be in Seattle. I'm just saying, Seattle has done everything I want a team to do. Period. I'm digging what's happening out in the Pacific Northwest right now.
I mean, you ask anybody that's around me these days. I'm like, hey, this Seahawks defense.
Did you get on board?
Watch the video I sent you?
Yeah, I did finally watch. I did watch.
Oh my God, they're making offense. The guy's a genius. We go over to Jamal BB Sharp on me as promised, then Martin, then Jamal to conclude the mailbag. To force the hero ball out of JD, Cliff may need to say that he needs to see more interceptions. Play fearlessly. The reason Mahomes is because once he is forced out of the pocket, he looks to find an open receiver while heading for the sideline. In contrast, JD chooses to gain yards by running himself while his receivers give up on trying to get open. It's an interesting point there, kid. What do you think?
I am trying to pull up, because I remember saying this. There was a moment at LSU early on where Jaden was playing entirely too safe. And they were basically like, you got to fucking throw the ball. You got to throw the ball down the field. I was trying to see if I could pull the story up, because I do remember reading it that offseason. It was one of the reasons I liked Jaden, and I liked the aspect of like the adversity facing and how it is you handle it. Yeah, I do think he played, like, it's one of the things that makes him special. He doesn't like to put the ball in danger, but I do think he's got to press it just a bit more than he's He's got to press it a lot more than he's pressing. And it might lead to more interceptions, but I'm telling you, the more that he does it, I think he's going to have more success than failure, honestly. Mm-hmm. And I think that success will make him pull those triggers a little bit better. There's a fearlessness that I don't see in Jaden and I see with other guys outside of like his ability or desire to like throw his body on the line. It's just in the style of play, he's entirely too conservative for his skill set.
Yeah. No, I think... I agree that this season he's done more of the like choosing to gain yards instead of looking downfield. I actually think last season he did a nice job of getting out of the pocket and keeping those eyes downfield as the season progressed. We even heard it in the all-22s. Initially, head down, run. And as we continue, I remember the Cleveland throw as an example. I remember a couple against Detroit as an example. Like he does it.
To push back, I think the run. I think there are two things. So you look at Jaden when it comes to that, and this goes back to me scouting him out of college. He's risk averse as far as turning the ball over. What that can mean sometimes is that I'm going to run it myself, which is a thing, or I'm not going to throw it unless I have something I really want. What I saw last year was that there is clear proof he trusted one guy, very specifically in Terry McLaurin, that fuck it, I could throw it and I get it up there to him.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had that blanket over the course of this season. Timing issues because of the injury, all sorts of stuff. I get that. Maybe you wrap that up in something, right? But the entire time he's been here, he's been risk averse to some degree. I've been saying last year, you heard me call out the Luke McCaffrey shit constantly, that like, hey, it's there. You need to take the shot. It's always been there, and it's been a constant and consistent throughout, is that I appreciate a quarterback that's smart enough early on saying, I don't want to turn the ball over, but I do need somebody that's want to be a little more risky when it comes to pushing the ball.
I actually think this sort of enhances what I'm trying to say with the wide receivers, because now I'm thinking even more. The throw against Philadelphia at home to Olamide Zaccheaus, he gets away from pressure, eyes downfield. He is wide open. He is wide open. But here's the thing. That receiver group found ways to get open enough that he can be risk averse. It's have your cake and eat it too. Yeah. He can be risk averse and he's got guys open. So it ends up being a perfectly safe throw, right? Like that's what I want from the wide receiver group, is to be able to find those pockets of space. And I think last year's group is going to go down as much more unheralded than we imagined, because they were actually quite good for him.
Zaccheaus particularly.
Yes.
But look, I understand all of that. And in a vacuum, it makes sense. But I will tell you this. Just looking at the All-22, just looking at the tape, there is what you might think is happening. What is happening are there are guys open.
Of course. And I think if we do that for a lot of quarterbacks in the league this year, including the high-end ones, we're going to see that too. That's my guess. That's my guess. Because I think whenever I see – we've even seen it with Mahomes. Right? Like or at least seen all 22 breakdowns. They'll even show it. They'll be like, oh, okay, you just missed this guy, but it's Mahomes. It's whatever.
You miss a guy. But that's what I'm saying, that it's not missing a guy. It's, hey, every series, there's a shot you didn't take.
Sure. I think you're going to see that more with people.
It's not the case.
I think it is. Anyway, but we'll agree to disagree over there. Here is Martin Collins. We've been through a lot of injuries that have sunk our season. If we're able to get a higher draft position, what do you think about Jeremiah Love, just a running back from Notre Dame? Can you imagine him and Jaden Daniels in this offense? What do you think? Other impact players that we could draft or possible free agents in the offseason? Is the future now? 2 thumbs up on that one. K-Dot, your reaction?
Not there yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of Jeremiah Love. So, K-Dot and I, we will start watching the college players a whole lot more once our season's done, relative to maybe some other guys that are college football junkies as well. I know that Jeremiah Love is having an absolutely unreal year, and I've seen a couple highlights of his. He is a spectacular player. He is. Based on what I think of him right now and what I think of this team, I would not do it. It's subject to change, Martin. Like, maybe I'll see him and go, this guy, he's different from all the other running backs. I'm willing to make an exception for him, maybe. But as of right now, I would not do that. Not with our first-round pick, when we don't have a second. We don't have a four. I would not do that.
I'm not at a point where I'm breaking down. Not to mention, who just won the Heisman? Elian Gonzalez.
Fernando Mendoza. We go to Jamal Bibi-Charbonne. We need to end the season on a positive note. Forget about Dallas and New York. Our coaches need to game plan for the Eagles starting last week. The Eagles are the team to beat. It may look like an impossible task, but anything can happen in division games. Dust off the brooms. And a bunch of broom emojis. K-Dot, your reaction?
I actually wouldn't mind that to be the thing. You play them 2 out of 3 weeks in the season. The idea, looking back at what happened last season and this season, that has been, we said that was the benchmark, right? Are we better than Philly? I think there is a case to be made that Dan Quinn and this team could be kind of looking around as far as like beat Philly. Like we know we're out of the playoffs, we know this, that, and the other, but motherfuckers, let's go beat these. Let's go cause some disruption for these motherfuckers as the playoffs are starting to start. Mm-hmm. That to me can be a goal. The only problem is you got them Hard Knocks cameras right now, and you can say that if you want to, but I also don't want to be the rallying cry for Domino's cocksuckers up north.
You may remember this, you may not. But I got called out for this too, for being a masochist. I was like, I rewatched the NFC Championship game. This was a couple months into the offseason. I was like, you know what? I just rewatched it. And in watching it, I went, that's why we got Laramie Tunsil. That's why we got Deebo Samuel. That's why we got Javon Kinlaw. It was, we're going to stop the run and we're going to be more physical on offense. You literally got these guys thinking we need to beat Philly. And now the game is here. I know we're 4-10. But I want to see what it looks like. So if Jaden's healthy, now I'm going right back. If Jaden's healthy, let the kid play. Let's see what it was supposed to look like to the best of our ability now, right? We want to establish momentum going into the offseason. We want Jaden to build his confidence. You built the team, Adam, for this. Dan, you built the team with this game in mind. So let's see what we can do. That game is Saturday, 5 p.m. We will have plenty of time and information to gather for our preview episode, just Friday, 2 p.m. as always.
I don't feel good about it.
I don't necessarily feel good about it, but I don't feel bad about it either.
I feel scared.
Games are.
I'm kind of scared.
I'm not scared. I feel like it's just a very random game. With the Eagles won their game 31-0, but it was the Raiders, another side piece team for KDOT, that just isn't particularly good. So
I can describe another team like that.
That's true. We do a podcast for it. This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC Sports podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode, our reaction to the Giants game, what we liked, what we didn't like, Shades Monday, and the comment mailbag as we always do. So before we take off over here, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDOT.
I want to apologize about the Elian Gonzalez comment. I know I do not have a good track record with Cubans. I'll leave it there. And
share this shit. We greatly appreciate you guys. And we'll see you Friday, 2 p.m. probably with the All-22 review plus the preview for the Philadelphia Eagles game. Unless KDOT goes, hey, I'm down to do it Tuesday. So plan on Friday, 2 p.m. So,
no!
I wanted to see if he'd say something. Friday, 2 p.m. We'll see you guys then. Until then, take it easy.
Long live for death!
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.